Sup guys, today I'm going to talk about Emperor Hockling in this video. And yes, as per the screen, I am aware that it is not till August 28, so it's more than a month away, right? But I thought I would just want to talk about this particular week because it's kind of obvious. It's a very clear-cut, straightforward choice if you were to ask me. Alright, which is a yes, we should be opening for Emperor Hockling. And the reason why is because Emperor Hockling itself is a good card, which I'll cover later. Nimrod is a very solid card as well. Alright, the only downside is a series 4, so maybe you might think that it's not that worth it if you hit it with a key. Alright, Cannonball after the Professor X nerf, well, that deck is pretty dead. But the other deck, the one that focuses on Cannonball, Dr. Octopus, and no Professor X, still works very well. Alright, making Cannonball, I believe, still a very good card overall. Now let's go into Emperor Hockling. Now Emperor Hockling has this description, the effect: at the start of the game, copy the text of a random 6-cost card. Now I believe this is good because you get it, you know what effect Hockling has. It's not a case of you slamming it on the board and then it comes in, you do not know. So you can actually plan for it in advance, in the sense that you do see what it is before playing it down. Alright, so that is a very that prevents a huge downside to Emperor Hockling's randomness, if you were to ask me. Now the next thing is we have to take a look at all the 6-cost cards in the game. Alright, and there are actually 28 of them. Now let's run through all of them one by one. Right, the first is Anim Zola. Now if we were to copy an Anim Zola, no doubt it is a good copy. Now as I go along, I'll be listing Hockling's copying effect into 3 categories: good, bad, or neutral. Alright, so good is obviously good, it's a good effect to pick up. Neutral means that it's likely to be a non-factor, nobody really cares, it's out of our control in that sense. Alright, bad will obviously be detrimental to what we are trying to achieve to win the game. Alright, so Anim Zola is obviously good if you were to copy. Just imagine, obviously, we are not going to plan to run Nimrod and have it copy more things. We are not going to run Venom or things like that, although you can. Alright, but we are just taking it in a very general context, right? But hey, look, if your Hockling becomes a Zola, alright, you put a 6/11 on board, you destroy and recreate, alright, another card. Tell me, how isn't that bad? It becomes a 6/11 plus additional power. Block is obviously good, right? Because with block, your Hockling gains power again, and you don't really care about it eating up your deck because it's likely to be your final turn play anyway. Right, now it's neutral. I mean, unless you're running destroy or you ran into a destroy, now it's pretty neutral. Leader is good. Just imagine Leader being buffed to 6/11. You will see instant play everywhere. Right, copying Dr. Doom is obviously good, right? It becomes a 6/21. Right, imagine Dr. Doom is at 6/11. Galactus is good as well. Well, if you have a 6/11 Galactus, that's crazy. Alright, for Apocalypse, it's neutral. It's neutral. Unless you're telling me you are going to build a discard deck and then pray that it copies Apocalypse, that doesn't make any sense. So it's neutral. If you were to copy Hela, it's neutral as well, same reason as Apocalypse. Alright, Spectrum is neutral as well, actually gravitating a little bit to good, because all you have to do is to maybe have 1 ongoing, 2 ongoing cards, which is very typical in a deck. Right, so it kind of becomes a 6/13, 6/15. Right, Onslaught is, I'll say, neutral as well, because it's kind of hard to predict. And yeah, Odin is good obviously because a lot of decks have an on review ability, so if you just happen to hit it another time, who knows. Alright, so I'm gonna put Odin as good. Ultron is obviously good to copy Ultron. Alright, you're playing it on the last turn anyway, so now you're thinking your Ultron is 6/11, doesn't matter. You have a 6/11 Ultron that adds additional 2 power drones. Well, even if it's just adding a drone to each location, alright, that means 4 power via the drones. Alright, Hockling is at 11, it's a 6/15, very solid line. Heimdall is bad, alright, because you could be forced to move the cards, so that's definitely bad. Tribunal is bad. Copying Tribunal is very bad because you have no intention to split your power, and now you you are forced to. Okay, Alive is good. Just think of Alive at 611 is good, of course. Helicarrier neutral, alright, because the effect is basically nothing. Copying Red Hawk is obviously good because it's a stronger Red Hawk. 610, 611, right? Sasquatch is the same thing, is obviously good, right? Because now you have a 611 Sasquatch. Same for She-Hulk, right? Thanos is bad. Copying Thanos would be bad because, well, you didn't plan for it, and now you suddenly have 6 Infinity Stones, right? So it's bad. It's definitely bad. Orca is neutral, I would say, right? It just becomes a normal flatline 611, right? Just 611 as it is, because chances are you didn't plan for it to leave lanes open, so it's probably hard for you to get that +5. Sakaar is, I would say, neutral. Alright, in theory it's good, but I would say in terms of practicality it's probably neutral, because you might not have planned to have those 10 power bodies, so that ability, that effects likely to be nothing, a nothing burger. Hawk is bad, right, because you're not copying any ability, and Hawk is 612, you're 611. Magneto is bad because you're copying that ability and losing 1 power. Agatha is bad, Giganto, Destroyer are all bad copies, all pretty self-explanatory. Alright, and copying Inferno is obviously bad as well. Now I know we end up with a lot of bad copies, alright, but overall, over the 28 cards, 11 copies, 11 duplication, alright, are actually good. Alright, it's actually good. 11 of them are actually good, 8 are neutral, and 9 are bad. Now, if we were to look at it, that means, alright, I don't want to do the exact maths, alright, but more than 2/3 of the time, you're okay. 1/3 of the time, more than 1/3 of the time, you're actually good, better off. Alright, about 1/3 of the time, you're okay, and only 1/3 of the time, you drew a sting ball. Now, and like what I mentioned at the start of the video, if you drew a sting ball, alright, if you copied some crap ability like Heimdall, Tribunal, which you don't want to deal with, you know you can see when it is in your hand, and therefore you are able to plan for it, you are able to retreat. Alright, so in terms of the cube gaining, cube loss, it can be controlled. Your downside is always controlled. Alright, so that's why I think Emperor Hulkling is a no-brainer. It's a great card to have.